obviously, listen, you can be listen, I'm passionate as crap about football. I cannot be an NFL quarterback. You know, I get it. So you have to know that part cold. But if you want to produce content, what I'm obsessed about is my friend who knows more about gardening than is healthy. But he spends 12 hours a day in forums and reading blogs about gardening, and if he was to cut out 3 hours of that and produce that content, he could quit his bullshit corporate job that he hates with his whole life and move to this. Now, not overnight, I get it, but I promise you, I'm sitting in these budget meetings. There's going to be $1 trillion in ad revenue, in ad buys, in 5 years, and they want to spend it in different places because debating if television works, I get that it works, but please don't talk to me about the metrics of television when we stick a box in every 4,000 homes and count it as real. Stupid. What I know is this. All of us, every person in this room, no matter what business you're in, you're all in the same business as I am. We are in the eyeballs business. And wherever, I don't know about you guys, but every time somebody comes up to me and says, well, how's Twitter going to make money or Facebook? I vomit directly in my mouth. Asshole, when you have billions of eyeballs, you can monetize. And that's interesting to me. It's interesting to me that how many people don't get it. It's interesting to me of how many people don't do what they love. It's interesting to me how much everything's changed and we've taken it for granted. We're underrating what's happened here. The internet that we all know, and I know nerds, don't get mad at me, I'm going to call it 14 years. I get it's been around for 40 or 50 or whatever the hell. But the internet that we know, the one that if you lived in America when AOL started sending you CDs in the mail, when Windows 95 came out, that thing is 14 fucking years old. 14. Nothing happens in 14 years. The internet hasn't even had sex yet. And it is completely disturbing the way we brand and build business, how we get to users. Facebook and Twitter and YouTube get all the credit. They're fucking tools on top of the bigger layer, right? I mean, they're a marker. Facebook's a damn stapler. You know, Twitter's a bunch of markers. You know how many companies came up to me last year and were like, I've got a Twitter account. What do you want, a fucking cookie? You're not gonna build a business off of that. What I know is this, to have the cost of entry be zero, like it is today, and to make excuses of why you're not building or why you're not caring, what I'm excited about is this. Everybody talks about how transparent and authentic it is. It really is, right? Because my DNA gets me excited when I see a lot of people up here. And I come up here and start cursing for God knows why. And there's a lot of people that don't necessarily like the over-the-top, extroverted bravado that I bring to the table. Other people like that it's authentic and real. The fact of the matter is this, though. Because we have the ability to engage with people on a one-to-one level now, whether virtual in our underpants at home or what, is very powerful. Because for my brand, it's been very successful. For the brands that have gotten their hands dirty and gotten over themselves and gotten into the trenches, it's been successful. And most of all, the consumer has changed. You know, I don't see a pretty girl now and grab a club and hit her in the head and drag her by the hair. We've evolved as human beings. So have the consumers. They don't want to be sold to the way everybody's used to. They want a piece of it. They want you to give a crap. They want to engage, whether you're a brand or a celebrity. And if you don't adjust to that, and if you draw lines in the sand of what you want instead of what they want, you have absolutely no shot of winning in this game. And so much more is coming. How many in this room are familiar with Boxee? B-O-X-E-E, raise your hand. Not a lot. Please write it down and check out Boxee.tv. I think they might have bought the .com now. I don't know if Boxee is going to be Friendster and be too early and not win, but I can tell you right now, the concept of Boxee is going to win. And when cable television, at least in the US, it's something I understand a little bit better, when TV falls, people are going to shit their pants, because then things are going to change. Because then brands are going to be scattered. They're going to try to figure out, because what brands like to do is, they like to be really lazy. They like to just say, here's $12 million, we know we get the eyeballs, or they think, because there's a box at every 4,000 homes, but whatever. And so, to me, what happens with that opportunity when everything shifts, when the eyeballs go in different places? I used to buy billboards and bus stop ads and taxi ads for Wine Library. until I was walking down the street and everybody in New York City was coming at me like this. And I was like, shit, they're not looking at my ad anymore. Things change, people aren't thinking about them, and to me, there's a lot of excitement opportunities in it. And I know people are scared and shift, but the people in this room, unless you work for a gigantic company, if anything could happen that would make me excited, it would be that you gave substantial consideration. I know you guys know. Just by you guys being here, you know so much more than 99% of the people out there. But what I think all of us, including myself, have not totally, completely swallowed, completely put into our DNA is how big this shift is. How substantial this change is, and how real it is for you to build a business around the things you love the most. And I promise you, when you do something around the thing you love the most, you'll work the 16 hours a day to make it successful because you love that shit. And that work with that passion, that's who wins. It's obvious, we see it every day. That's the game. Because when you're 90 years old and laying on the bed going to the other place, you're gonna care about, you wish you spent more time with your family, and you'd be like, you know what, I hated that fucking job. That was fucked up. And I don't want that to happen because now you can absolutely go and grab it. And listen, I don't want anybody to quit their jobs. You've got to pay bills and you've got kids and rent. I get that. I'm talking about when you go home, stop watching fucking Lost. Stop playing Madden football. Stop hitting the Wii tennis racket for 9 hours. Don't come to me and complain that your business blows when you've got the highest score on the Wii. Seriously. Thank you.
All right, so we're going to break some rules here right now.
Yes, get the crowd involved.
I was told that, we couldn't have questions from the audience, but what the hell? Does anybody have a question? Raise your arm. Question, hit it.
20 euros for the first question.
Okay, over here on the front row, go.
How many room you think there is for wine lovers to have to make a living out of it?
How much room is there?
How many Gary V's?
That's the funny thing. I think people get ahead of themselves. I mean, I know that people see me and there's like, I have 1 million followers on Twitter and all this national press and all this stuff, and they don't think they can do it. I'm big, but I'm not that. I mean, there's so much room. I mean, it's such a big space. I mean, at the end of the day, you have to have the chops. Like I said, I'd love to be an NFL quarterback, but I can't. You've got to know what you know best. And I think when you're good, there can be multiple winners, right? I mean, there's room for multiple winners if both players are good. If all 3 players are good. 7 players are good. I think the markets are bigger than people understand. Plus, there's a lot of ways to monetize in different angles. I mean, for a wine guy, a lot of my early monetizing was getting paid $15,000 a night to do a wine event, right? I can only do one wine event. There's other wine events that need to be done. Now,
25.
What's that, 25,000?
No, 25 people, 25 Gary V's.
I think it's possible. Now, I think what would be more possible is, people taking niches within the wine, right? So somebody that owns Burgundy, somebody that completely owns the Loire Valley.
Strictly woody Chardonnay.
Well, that would be Napa Valley.
Strictly woody. All right. You got another question?